I am Raziel.
What's up, guys? Raziel here. And do you like bling? Do you like fucking jewelry? You want to be all, shiny in front of all your friends? Alright, well, I'm going to teach you how to do Innocence Extreme in Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers. This is, hands down, in my opinion, the easiest extreme mode fight I have ever done. At least from a tank's perspective, though, as I watch DPS and healers, it doesn't seem to be much harder for them. So if you want a quick guide, this video is for you. In fact, the fight is so easy, the names of the abilities he does aren't even that relevant. You don't even really have to pay that close attention unless you're a tank for the tank buster. But outside of that, everything he does is very visible and very easy to react to before, you fuck the party up and kill everybody. So, pay close attention, and I'm going to show you really quickly how to beat this fight easily. First up, you want to tank the boss usually as close to the center of the ring as often as possible. It makes reacting to mechanics far, far simpler. And in fact, there are not that many mechanics different from normal mode. Like I said, everything's super easy to react to, so pay attention. Throughout the fight, he'll do Shadow Reaver, which is just a party-wide AoE. It's unavoidable. You can mitigate it as best you can. As a Dark Knight tank myself, I throw out Dark Missionary. But you don't have to, unless, of course, you have picked up stacks from getting hit by something else. Then you should use something to protect yourself and prevent damage, but otherwise, just heal through this bitch. This mechanic you'll see throughout the fight many times, Winged Reprobation. It's very, very simple. It puts markers on two targets, and they just have to run to opposite corners of the circle and kite the said mechanic, and then just run back to the center. Just run to your area in the corner, and then run back towards the boss. Don't veer left or right. Just go straight back towards, you'll be fine. Alright, now here's one ability where you have to pay attention to when it casts. It's Righteous Bolt. This is the tank buster. Just make sure if you're the off tank that you are taunting during the cast, not after. And then make sure if you're the main tank, as soon as the other tank gets aggro and you've been hit by the ability, to shirk them. Pretty simple shit. Now, sometimes throughout the fight, you'll see him cast these swords that cause these blue indication lines. These are really simple to deal with, and a lot of people tend to panic when they see them. They're very simple to deal with. As you can see in this situation, these are going south and north. Just south to start with. Just keep this in mind. If it starts south, the next time it comes out, which is going to be soon after it ends, is going to be south and north. If it starts east or west, a few seconds afterwards, it's going to go again as both east and west. Very simple to keep in mind. Don't get hit by this, please, or you're bad. Now, this is another mechanic from normal that you've seen 1,000 times. It's just the spinning wheel. Which direction it goes is generally random. I believe the first 2 times it's static, but after that it's random what direction it spins. But don't worry about it. Just give yourself enough room when you see it drop to back up a little bit, and just don't get hit by it. It's really, really easy to dodge. This next part is, you've seen it before, just a bunch of line AoEs you need to dodge. This is legit a retard check. And hey, even yours truly fails those sometimes, but just don't get hit by more than one, because you get a Vuln stack every time you get hit. The yellow lines, orange lines, whatever color you want to call them, they'll generally aim themselves at DPS. The blue lines are static though and set. Just don't get hit. And also with the blue lines, once they've gone one direction, keep your eye on the swords where they pause, and just don't be directly facing one, which will pretty much guarantee you won't get hit by the next batch of blue lines because you'll already be in the correct spot. Alright, after a while of dodging mechanics, the boss will teleport away, and it's very, very simple. It'll spawn 3 adds. Always kill the south add first. It does not need to be tanked. Then it's up to you which tank has the west, which one has the east. Don't let them get close to each other. They have tank busters you want to use cooldowns for. All the DPS choose and either go west right after south is dead or east right after south is dead, and then kill the last one. And then the super attack comes in, and don't bother putting up shields and all kinds of shit like that. Just make sure everyone's topped off, because this penetrates all shields. Alright, now after you've completed the ad phase and you DPS him a bit more, comes the main mechanic of the fight that most people tend to fuck up, and it is called Starbirth. Essentially what he will do is spawn these orbs, and these orbs, when they detonate, take up 1/3 of the arena almost. Essentially, they'll take up almost the entire arena when all 3 detonate. So when they are going to detonate, you need to go to the corner that 1 hasn't spawned, drag the boss there. Keep in mind other mechanics that you will get later on, like giant markers that you'll see here now that do giant AoEs. If you clip one of these orbs, one of these stars, if you will, with your AoE, it will detonate, thus killing you, and probably cause a wipe because it'll blow up on a third of the room. So yeah, you need to pay close attention. And again, I'm going to make a correction myself already. Each orb takes up a quarter of the platform when it explodes. Okay, so make sure you're not dragging abilities into it. Line AoEs will not detonate it, so don't worry about that, but big marker AoEs will. Now comes a mechanic you haven't seen yet, Pillar of Light. It's just a party stack line AoE. Make sure you stand in it, share the damage. However, there is a caveat to this. Later on in the fight, the boss will spawn 4 sun orbs, thus making not a single spot on the platform safe for when they detonate. So how do you deal with this? It's simple. You use the stack marker line AoE to aim it in the direction of one of the orbs when that comes up. Detonate it, and then run to that new safe empty spot before the other orbs detonate. Next up is another ability you haven't seen, Beatific Vision. This is one of the abilities along with Shadow Reaver that will detonate orbs when he casts it. He goes to one side of the room. You should be on the safe space where orbs, when they detonate, won't hit you, and where you aren't straight north or south or east or west. You are in a corner. He will race across the room in the direction he is facing and cause party-wide damage. Just heal through it, mitigate it. Not a big deal. If you're too close to the center of the room or to directly north, south, east, or west, you will be one shot. So yeah, don't get hit by this shit. And finally, the final mechanic that you have to deal with, which was also in normal, is the circle AoE that has little gaps in it that you can stand in to avoid taking damage. He will, keep in mind, during this, the beginning of this mechanic, he will cast more of those blue swords, which will go across the map, you know, in the directions like they have always done thus far. Don't panic and run into them first. Wait for those swords to resolve before you run into a gap. They will resolve long before you need to run into a gap. Then you just follow it around in the circle and keep going in the gaps, and you will be completely fine. And that, my friends, is the quick-ass guide to the crown of the Immaculate Extreme, or Innocence Extreme. If you like this video, if the guide was helpful, please drop a like. If you like my content, please sub and hit the little alert bell so you know when I put up more videos. Also, keep in mind, I Twitch stream in between 3 and 4 days a week. You can see my schedule and my Twitch link right there. My schedule is on the actual Twitch page. So yeah, at this point, guys, everything else that's going to happen in the fight is a mechanic you've seen and dealt with thus far. Again, guys, this is the easiest extreme fight I've ever encountered. Maybe people have different opinions, but you should be able to come in here, and if you're even slightly competent, be able to down it within a few tries. You can also still beat the enrage timer even with several deaths. So, but that's not saying go die. Don't die. Do the mechanics, do the fight right. But anyway, guys, this has been Raziel, and as always, my friends, keep it real.